Hi, welcome to Education Roundtable. I'm Tom Salter, and today we're very pleased to have as our special guest Mr. Gary Hall. Gary is the principal at Carver Senior High School. You like to make sure that senior's in there, don't you?
We do. I think a long time ago they had Carver Junior,
Right.
so that they had to separate it, Carver Senior, Carver Junior. I think the alumni like to
Right.
have that Carver Senior in there.
It's kind of like I'm still not over Troy changing from Troy State University to Troy University, but maybe one day. It's only been 20 years. I'll get over it one
That's
day.
right.
But we do have two Carver schools. We have Carver Elementary,
Yes.
which is our half traditional school and a half magnet school, arts magnet, and then of course Carver High School.
Yes.
And you know, I still remember the old Carver High
Yes.
School. I remember the day we tore it down.
Yes.
And you weren't principal.
Yes.
You were when they tore it down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I came up on board. Actually, you know, my situation was I was hired at Carver High School.
Right.
Mr. Dwight Madison hired me as an English teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated on a Saturday, and Tuesday I had a job.
Wow.
So I was actually supposed to go back to the junior high school and interview with the principal at the junior high school, which was a female. And some kind of way I got turned around in the building and ended up interviewing with the principal at the high school, which was a male. So at the end of the interview, I asked him, I said, well, where's the female, the principal? He's like, I'm the principal. I'm like, okay, so who is the, so anyway, long story
So you
short
went
is,
to the wrong interview?
yeah, I
and
went to the
still
wrong
got
place.
job?
Yeah,
Man,
so
that's
got
really
the job.
Cool. That's fantastic.
And so I don't think I've told very many people. I don't even I've told Mr. Madison about that one, but the female principal, Ms. Manat, was there. She knew about it. Well, anyway, I guess long story short is I did a couple of years as an English teacher. I got my administration degree, graduated from Alabama State.
Right.
I got my administration, my admin, and then Mr. Madison had a spot become available. I interviewed over at Lee High School, and Randy Skipper, I think, was there, and he wanted me over there as assistant principal. Well, Mr. Madison said, no, I have a spot. We're gonna keep him here. So he called down, and Dr. Carter said, okay, if that's what you want. So I stayed at Carver. From Carver High School, I went to McIntyre Middle School.
Okay. Right.
McIntyre Middle School, and I stayed there 4 years. And after 4 years, Dr. Carter called me down and asked me would I mind thinking about taking Carver, over again, because I'd come from there, and I said, no, I'm good where I am. Let me just stay where I am. I've got this thing under control.
Right.
And so after a little while, after some phone calls from some different individuals, I said, well, let me go. Let's see what happens. And I've been there now for, 13, 14 years.
So it's almost like fate that you went to the wrong interview.
Oh, most definitely.
At the wrong school.
And stayed there.
And stayed
there.
That's amazing. That's really good. Well, the Carver High School, of course, has been a fixture in the community.
Yes.
And when we were ready to start building a new Carver High School and started looking at different places, the community just came out and said, we want it to stay where it is, right?
Yes. Let me tell you, you probably heard those phone calls that were probably from some of the top tier.
Right.
I heard the top tier, I heard the middle tier, and I heard the other tier, and they all had a say.
Yeah.
But the whole goal was to leave Carver where it was.
Well, and it's a beautiful school for those of us who are watching who haven't been to Carver. I know you welcome visitors to come in and just take a look around.
Mr. Salter, let me tell you, my biggest thing is, people will say what goes on in our public schools here, but when you talk about Carver High School, that's my passion. And when you talk about Carver, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, have you ever been there?
Right.
And if you say you haven't been there, then I'm going to invite you.
Right.
Then when you leave, then you can talk about Carver High School.
Well, as a matter of fact, you had some visitors today.
I did. Leadership Montgomery, they came in today. They spent a couple of hours with me, and they were pleasantly surprised. We walked around. I showed them from A to Z. And like I told the individuals that came today, I don't put on a show. It's what it is. It's what you see. It's what you see is what you get.
Right.
And they stayed with me today, and I took them from everywhere, from my curriculum person to the classrooms to how we college career readiness standards. We took them to our career tech education wing.
Yeah,
we even had RTI going on today. I took them in there. show them how we deal with those individuals that just not meet the mark and how we deal with those with the standards.
And RTI's response
to intervention. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly,
okay,
exactly.
okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that make Carver unique. The history, of course, is part of it.
Well, I tell you, it's, Carver's been around forever. And, I like to say what a lot of people tell me, the alumni. Well, they didn't have anywhere else for us to go, African Americans. They went to Carver High School. That's where everybody went.
Right.
Our saying is once a Wolverine, always a Wolverine. And they take that to heart.
Yeah.
Anything that goes on with Carver, it better be up to standard.
Yes.
And if it's not up to standard, you're going to hear about it. So, and you hear about it, and they'll call you and tell you.
Right.
When I took the job at Carver High School, my phone I don't know who gave my number out, but it just went berserk. If I was calling me and said, "You're the new principal, I want to come meet with you, I want to come meet with you." I was like, look, I'm trying to get ready for the students.
Right.
But I'm telling you, it's a rich tradition. When we play any kind of event, any kind of game, they're going to show up. They're going to show up, and they're going to tell you what they think about what you do.
Well, I know that over the last few years, you've had very active board members who were alumni of your school.
Yes.
Mr. Spears.
Yes.
And also
Mr. Porterfield.
Mr. Porterfield.
Mr. Porterfield. Mr. Porterfield likes to always say he's a true Wolverine, and what that means, I pulled him to the side one day and asked him. I said, "What true Wolverine?" He said, "I went to kindergarten, I went to middle school, I went to high school, I've been at Carver all my life." I said, "Okay, so you're a true Wolverine."
Yeah. Very proud of it.
Very proud.
If you were in a conversation for more than 2 minutes with him, you knew he went to Carver. Well, talk about some of the programs that you have at Carver.
Well, let me just say, just last night we're going to embark upon a situation where ACT, and ACT, that's what the state test.
Right.
So I managed to get a group to come in, and we're going to they're going to have like 7 Saturdays before we take the test, February the 20th. They're going to come in on Saturday from 10 to 2, and they're going to teach the strategies. Mind you, I say strategies because it's a way to tackle that test.
Sure.
We were trained when I taught, 100% you get all the questions right. ACT is a little different. And so the young lady that I managed to grab, I talked to some other principals down in the Mobile area, and everybody said the name. So finally I got in touch with this young lady. She came last night. She met with my juniors, and we're going to embark upon that. And starting when we get back from the break, those students will be in there on Saturdays, every Saturday doing work and making it happen.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that she's going to be on board with us. So that's one thing that we've embarked upon, and that the test will get us ready for the college portion.
Right.
Now, when it comes to a career, I've gone to my ROTC, which makes up our standards when we deal with our college and career readiness.
Sure. Yeah.
I've gone to my ROTC. I've gone to my counselors and put them to task as far as anybody entering the military that did not. Was not a part of the ROTC.
Right.
And then our Microsoft Office and stuff like those things get you, those certificates get you ready for the career portion.
Absolutely.
And so they've done a great job with that. We had a high number last year. We've got a young lady who she taught 11th grade at one point, taught 11th grade most of her tenure at Carver. I managed to get her to move to the 12th grade to help teach our seniors work keys, another portion for the for college and career readiness. And so this time around, we have some of the highest scores that I've seen in a long time.
Fantastic.
Had some 6s and 7s. So we're doing some great things there. We've got the SHREB as a Southern Research Education based. They come in. We have a literacy portion as well as the math portion. And today the math person from SHREB is in the building, and what they do, we go around and we do we monitor, we go, well, not evaluate, so to speak, it's not really an evaluation, we go and observe, and then we come back and meet with the teachers and tell them what we saw, what we didn't see, what we like to see.
Right.
And the new concept now is not that the teacher does all the talking, we do the turn and talk, the student is the one that's supposed to lead the whole situation. The teacher goes up, she introduces it, and we turn it over to the students and let them go with it.
Right.
So it's a new concept that we're dealing with here. I had some kind of bumps in the road going there because I had some parents say, well, if the teacher's not teaching, I'm going to move. I want my child moved. I said, well, come on, let's go in the classroom. I'm going to sit in there with you. And so the parent, came, she saw what was going on and she got ready to walk out. She said, well, Ms. Hall, let my child stay. They're doing a good job.
Well, the world has changed.
Oh, most definitely.
Back in the old days, we were supposed to teach kids how to turn screwdrivers and how to listen to lectures and regurgitate the information that they're told. And that's not the way kids learn anymore, but it's also not the way business works. Most businesses want independent thinkers, people who can work in a team, who know how to do research, who know how to communicate. And you can't do any of that if all you've been doing is sitting in a desk and facing the front.
That's right.
That's right. You can't do it.
Those lectures don't work anymore.
Yeah.
You can stand up there and lecture, and I've had it done to me, and it doesn't work anymore. You got to introduce that practice and let them take it and let them practice and go around and monitor, what they're doing. And I'm telling you, I see some changes there. I see some changes there. And it's going to be, at the end of the day, it's going to pay off for all parties involved.
Right.
All parties involved.
Well, let's talk a little bit about my favorite thing at your school, and that's the culinary arts. You have a wonderful hospitality and culinary arts academy, and every time I get invited to come over when your students are catering, I'm standing there, knife, fork, ready to go.
Gotcha. I tell the story when we moved into the building, the lunchroom manager there, she came over. She said, Mr. Hall, I really need to speak with you. I got a problem. We need to work this out. And my thinking was, we just moved into the building. What kind of problem would you have?
Right.
And so she said, well, I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get the food from down the hallway to the lunchroom. And I sat there and I looked for a minute. I was like, what do you mean to get this food? I said, the lunchroom has the lunchroom.
Yeah.
I said, it's right there.
Right.
She said, yeah, but the kitchen's down the hall. I said, oh, that's the culinary unit.
Right.
Your porch is in the back.
Yeah.
But if you ever take a tour of that facility,
it's amazing.
It's bar none. I'm telling you, it's a miniature scale of what they have in the Renaissance Hotel.
Right.
Really.
Right.
We got individuals to come out and help us with that, put that together. And so, but they do everything from the Camellia Bowl. Bob Parker came in and we did the inauguration of one of the Bentley when he was inaugurated.
Right.
We helped fix food for that. We have the hippie program coming tomorrow night. They feed about 450.
Goodness.
The YMCA come to do their Christmas little functions there, and so they get out and really do it. Tuskegee, they did the Tuskegee Airmen situation in Tuskegee.
Right.
We went there and we fed them. The students do the work. They do live work. They do work, and when they get the money, those funds are used to buy the materials to do more work. And we place people in different positions here in Montgomery, and several of them have gone to other places and they're making good money.
Well, an executive chef can make good money.
Very much so.
And so, and when the kids leave Carver after being in that program, they're ready.
Most definitely.
They're ready. They may not know everything, but they know how to find out how to fix what they need to fix.
And they have the those necessary skills, OSHA, the safety.
HACCP.
Yeah, so those things, and there's the certification that you get. ServSafe is what they work on in the culinary unit. Ms. Wilkerson does a great job running that program. And it's sad to say, I think she's going to retire at the end of the year.
No.
Yeah, so she promised, though, she would leave me the chocolate chip cookie recipe. However, I told her I have trouble boiling eggs, so hey, I don't know.
Well, you'll please invite me to her retirement party. I'm sure it'll be a good one.
We'll do that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the other stuff that you have.
Okay.
You have a separate building in the back.
Yes,
and let's talk about what goes
advanced
on there.
manufacturing. Yeah. We have a great program there. We did advanced manufacturing, of course, and culinary. Now, at first we had electrical and the welding component. Right. We took the electrical and moved it to impact.
Sure.
Okay, and then we left the welding component on and dealing with more motor skills there.
Right.
And so Mr. Barrett does a great job with that. Now, some of our students have transitioned to impact, and they do like a dual situation to go down to impact and do a couple of periods there, and then come back to us. But they work together. They work together, impact with the teacher there, and then our teacher, kind of do the work together. But those students are trained to go out in different areas as far as Hyundai and Hyundai suppliers.
Right.
We've had some individuals go and going off to Trenum, that kind of thing. So I just think that we, in Montgomery Public Schools, we're moving forward.
Right.
And it's showing.
Right.
It's showing now. And so it's showing to the point where when we send those students out to those different places, now they're coming back. They're coming back. I actually hired one of my students to be one of my math teachers. And he'd gone to Alabama State, he graduated, went back, got his master's in math, and he's going back again. I said, man, what are you going to do with all this math? I said, but I have a math spot. He said, really, Mr. Halls, come on, work for me. They got to see him today. I know I transitioned to some other thought,
right.
but what I'm saying is we're trying to get those students to go out and see the world and bring some of that back to us.
Absolutely.
And so even today, I had some of my former students come back, and I stopped some of my existing students and had them talk to I was talk to them and tell them about college. How's college life?
Right.
How do you handle college life versus being at home with mom versus your mother waking you up versus you going by yourself doing your own thing.
Right.
And so they talk to them and say it's a big step.
Yeah.
It's a big step. But my thing is I think all of that helps out.
Well, the one thing I learned when I went to Troy after the first quarter, we were on quarters, it was you don't have to have an 8 o'clock class.
No, you don't. And dropping ad does work.
Dropping ad is great, and the CLEP test is a beautiful thing.
Oh, most definitely. And if they sell those, with the Cliff Notes or whatever,
sure.
Man, I used to get those all the time.
Good stuff.
Most
So you've got those two programs as your academy.
Yes.
Tell me about, you've got an award-winning ROTC.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about the
Good.
ROTC. Let me tell you, our ROTC program, every time they go somewhere, they place first and second.
Right.
I mean, if the drill team, excellent job. They practice. They have a drill pad in the back. They practice more than the football team. I mean, they out there. If you come at morning time early, they're there. In the afternoon, they're there. Sergeant Walker, First Sergeant Murray, they do a great job with that program. Yeah. Last year they went to Kentucky. I think they placed out of everybody, I think they were like in the top. I know they were in the top 5.
Right.
And that's the top 5 all over.
Right.
And so I think we won the individual the award for the drill team. We won that. Like I say, they first and second everywhere they go. ROTC is they put on a program here. At the Garrett Coliseum, they hosted that. Right. They do several things, and they march in all the Veterans Day parade. You name the parade, they're in it.
Well, they were just the other night. They did the flag posting the colors at the board meeting, and sharp young
very
men
much
and women.
So.
Very sharp.
And you know what? It's kind of if you look at those individuals in the school, I call them leaders. They're all my leaders.
Sure.
If you look at leaders in the school that participate in activities, look at their grades versus people who just don't participate in anything at all. Now you have few, cases that but the majority of those individuals make good grades, and they go on off to college and they go and they stick.
Right.
Some go and they make the U-turn, and so and we have to redirect them.
Sure.
And so, but my thing is, my curriculum specialist. And my graduation coach, their job is to make sure that those students can go and do that. And then when they come back, they come out of school, I ask them, listen, talk to them about what they're doing and what's going on and what the next steps kind of thing. But yeah, ROTC award winning. Well,
and you're also, I know you're very proud of your athletic program.
Oh, most definitely.
I remember going over to you have this wonderful outdoor facility with the track and all that. Yeah. And I remember coming out there for the municipal games or whatever we were doing. And there you were jogging around the track. And I was thinking, man, I wish I could. That's been a long time.
Well, you know what, I tell you, the one thing that I know, just last night, even our core performance, and I'll get back to sports, our core performance, a young lady that I would never, if I had to put my hand on it and guess, would take a lead role and do a solo. I would never, because she's so shy.
Right.
And you speak to her, she kind of half speak. She took that mic last night and started singing, so I said, wow.
Yeah.
But then I walked up to her in the school, today, and I told her, I said, "Oh man, I heard you last night." I said, "You really showed Mr. Hall." I tell you, because when you took the mic, I was like, "Wow, she's gonna sing." But they like to hear that you see them.
Right.
So
Mr. Terry is.
Yes.
I mean, he is as good a choral director as I've ever seen.
Yeah.
His
Henry
choirs
Terry,
are always fantastic.
If Henry Terry comes in and tells me he's going to retire, I'm going to cry. Because replacing him, you can replace the principal before you replace the choir director. Because he takes what he has and makes the best of it.
Consistently, his choirs are among the best.
Yes.
And he's a nice guy.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
My sports program.
Yes.
James Jackson, he's won 3 of the last couple of years in state championship. We were 6A champions just last year. I have a new football coach. We were 11 points from being just undefeated, and we went 7 or 8-0, and then we had a couple bumps in the road. But he's come in and he's done a great job. Great job. The volleyball program, they do a great job. My baseball team went further this past year than they've ever been, and so in the playoffs. So Rod White.
Your women's sports?
That's what I say, volleyball.
Yeah.
Volleyball, my girls' basketball team
yeah.
did the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this year I looked at Coach Jackson the other day and told him, I said, man, you better get to going because that girls' basketball team is pretty good. They pretty much undefeated around here.
Right.
And so I said, man, you better get to dust off the cobwebs and get it going. I said, you're going to rest on those 3 trophies or put those trophies in the trophy case and get me another one.
That's
so,
right.
But yeah, so we had a young man off the boys' basketball team signed with Georgia, D1 signer. We've got a couple of football players that committed. One I think is taking a visit to Texas A&M, but I think Tennessee is his first love. It's all he ever wears to school. Got a couple of individuals going to some high-powered schools.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Have some in college right now. Mac Wilson is a graduate of Carver High School.
And he's a wonderful player.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sean Hamilton went on to the Redskins.
Sure.
He's a graduate of Carver High School.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know this though. Carver High School can boast that they had the number one pick in the draft in, I want to say, 93. It was Andre Bruce.
Oh, wow.
Andre Bruce is a Carver graduate.
Fantastic.
Yes, and he was the first pick,
right.
the number one pick. And when I say that, people say, "Well, you mean like in the third round?" I said, "No, the very first pick,
first round,
first pick, exactly."
That's
so we can boast that, and Bruce stops by. I haven't seen him lately, but he stops by every once in a while. And so, but yeah, our sports program, man, they've come a long way. And basketball used to be, people say, "Well, Carver's a basketball school." Well, football we've done pretty good as well.
You sure have,
Yeah.
and I can just feel the pride.
Oh man,
that you have in your school.
Yeah.
And we're starting to get close to the end of our time together.
Okay.
But just tell me a little bit about what you need.
Let me say this, Mr. Salter. I need the community. I need the community to dispel the rumors. MPS is this, MPS is that. Come see for yourself.
Right.
Come see for yourself. And if you come and see and you see something, tell me about it. If it's something that I can change, I'll do so.
Right.
But I just need community. I need the community to support us. And if they do that, we dedicated to do the job. I'm telling you, I'm going to do business on behalf of Carver everywhere I go.
Right.
I mean, when I'm Carver, my son and daughter tell me all the time, "Do you ever not get off work?" I said, "No, I'm working all the time. I'm working all the time." But I love what I do.
Well,
I
good
really
principals do. The good principals are on 24/7.
Yes.
And tell me just a little bit about what your day's like as a
Listen.
principal of a large senior high school.
Okay, so listen, when I get there in the morning, I can lay out a plan, and all plans go astray when it comes to dealing with education. But I get there in the morning time, we make sure kids get breakfast and go into the classrooms or whatnot. We do some observations. This year we've done a whole lot more with advanced ed being there,
Sure.
and so by the way, I was one of the schools they picked to come in and look, and I think we did a great job there.
Sure you did.
And so, so we do observations. Any little thing that comes up, I got culinary wanting to do this, and we need to run here, need to go there. I need to make sure the money's there for all these different people going to these different places, and just to kind of follow the flow of the schedule, make sure the students are going to where they need to go,
Right.
making sure that the counselors are talking to the students, and vice versa, the students are talking to the counselors. I always ask the question, do you know who your counselor is? Do you know? And I have my administration, I put them in grade levels, and I think that's the best way to do it because they learn the students.
Right.
And I always, if it's a ninth grade student, I call Mr. Mack. I said, Mr. Mack, what's going on with, so and so? And he'll say, oh, Mr. Hall, that's just, let me talk to you about him, kind of thing. So my thing is, I think that being that we're in that new school, we got the D part, E part. We put all the 12th graders on one hall, the 11th graders at the bottom, 10th graders on at a portion of the 11th grade, and then the ninth graders we have a ninth grade academy, and we put them on the top floor.
Right, right.
Yes, and they call it, they like to call that the no man's land or something. That's some kind of name they gave it. But my thing is, those ninth graders, they're doing a great job as well. They're doing a great job. For the first time, I think we had some students that came in and they adjusted just like that. And so that to me tells they're serious about education.
Right.
They're serious about education. So, but.
Well, you mentioned having the community to help.
Yes.
And one thing that we have all been talking about recently is our millage.
Our millage.
Yeah, we need to get that up.
And and so if you want the Rolls Royce, you're not going to go to the Yugo lot to do it. And so
That's right.
and so there's a difference.
Right.
And I'm not saying that money is everything, because every time people ask, well, what do you need? People say, oh, money. I'm not saying we don't need it, because we do.
Right.
Because things cost money.
True. And
it costs money to educate. But every child needs a book. Every child needs a laptop to deal with, to be able to work with. And so, that would definitely be a help.
Well, 10 years ago, our budget was $325 million, and this year it's less than 300.
Wow.
And we had proration back
Yes.
in 2008, I think it was,
Yes. 7.
And since then we've still been trying to recover.
Well, what really baffles me, I don't understand when the state is as soon as you start making it, they start pulling.
Right.
And so they'll pull from this way, pull from that way,
Right.
and then you're back to where you started.
Right.
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 They give you all this stuff in the front, and then when you make it, it's
Right.
that way.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly been a pleasure talking
Yes.
with you today, and I whenever I need you, I have to let the secretary know, because you're out in the hall.
Yeah.
I can never find
Yeah.
you. You're out in the hall.
My space is for rent at Carver.
Well, great.
Yeah, you want an office, you can get it.
Yeah. Well, please come by and see Mr. Hall and his very talented staff and dedicated staff at Carver High School. Just drop by and say hello, and they'll
That's
be
right.
happy to give you a tour of the place. We appreciate you spending some time with us today, and hope that you will join us again next time for the Montgomery Public Schools Education Roundtable. Have a great day.